Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Lo-Fi Let's Play with me, Lee Alexander. Just a little housekeeping before we begin. Let's use the living tutorial while we do this. I am currently on enforced exile in America while I wait on a new visa. So you may notice I don't have my new high-quality microphone with me this time. Sorry about that. There'll be more updates in the newsletter, but for now, let's get to the game. We're going to be playing 1984's The Tracer's Sanction, which is by Rebecca Heinemann, and it's from the year 1984. Now, Becky Heinemann is a famous programmer, a genius with a great legacy. She was also involved in a previous Lo-Fi Let's Play favorite, Task Times in Tone Town, which I mistakenly credited only to Michael and Muffy Berlin. Sorry about that, Becky. But let's have a look at this tutorial. I mean, I don't normally spend time on that, and this might end up being a little bit of a longer lo-fi let's play than usual, but I promise it'll be worth it. So here we go. Now, one of the challenges when it comes to parser-based interactive fiction is that it's really hard to explain to other people how to play. And this, this tutorial, I think, is one of the better ones I've seen. Not only does it explain to players how these sort of primitive parsers work in the section talking to the computer, it is accountable for all of your senses and it responds to commands, things like that. And this is one of the better examples I've seen of how to describe how parser-based gameplay works. It includes not only instructions, but also some really fun examples. If you play the Tracer Sanction on an Apple IIe emulator yourself, we're using the enhanced Apple IIe emulator for Windows today, as usual. And you can see, actually, this parser is kind of sophisticated because it knows all as a collective noun. It's always a good one to test if you want to know how smart a parser is. So now this even has some really fun examples. So yeah, it is a long tutorial, but it also offers a sample puzzle. Say your objective is to rescue the kidnapped daughter of a wealthy steel magnate. Your only clue is to go to the bar in town. And we have this lovely illustration here of a bartender and a swordfish. You're in a bar. The bartender is busy cleaning a glass. There's a long piece of rope here. And the tutorial then explains, some of the things that would work in this scene or some of the things that you may want to do if you find yourself in a bar with a giant swordfish. Here's another one about entering and opening doors and things like that. And how to further investigate beyond what is visible on the screen. So illustrated parser-based text adventures are challenging in a way that text-only ones are not. Sorry, that came out in a garbled manner, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying, because you don't know how much you can trust the image on the screen. You don't know whether all of the important elements will be described by the text or whether you have to search in the image. And that can sometimes be hard to read and hard for a game to communicate. So this section of the tutorial deals with that quite well. And now look at this beautiful seascape. I love the artwork. I've inspired by friend of Lo-Fi Let's Play and Wizard Cracker 4am. I've been kind of on a journey of Rebecca Heinemann's games. And they all kind of have such a beautiful color palette. Like, I don't remember seeing oceans that were properly turquoise. I think the game Borrowed Time has one too. Anyway, it's beautiful, huh? I hope you guys love this kind of dorky stuff as much as me, friends. And if not, you can just skip ahead because I won't spend too much time on this tutorial, but you may want to read the way that it deals with telling the player what it can and can't do. What happens when you die, what you can learn from when you die, that you can make a raft, that there are several ways to solve these situations. You've now completed the sample puzzle, and we are ready to take on a full-fledged adventure, friends. There are a few final points to keep in mind, keeping things simple, la la la. So, I mean, not a lot of games at the time had a parser this robust, nor B, did they do you the courtesy of offering you this type of introduction. And this game even has a hint system. 3 times per game you can summon a condor. Yep, here we go, the tutorial hint condor and his assistant, the towel-bearing bluebird. Greetings, featherless cyborg. I am the condor, rarest of birds, most recent in a line of bird kings stretching back to the Stone Age. Awesome. But Megalosaurus, Mastodon, even the great woolly mammoth are long gone. Legendary bird kings have been forced to find jobs in the exciting, fast-growing field of computers. So there's a lot of humor, a lot of thought, and a lot of quirkiness in Rebecca Heineman's games. So welcome to the world of illustrated text adventures, friends. What do you say we actually get started on the game? We will flip the disc, and here we go. Let's begin the game. Oops. Yeah. So we're in the headquarters of the SIA building on planet Mongo. The man sitting behind the desk greets you with the warmth of a Jovian winter. So, just like in the tutorial, we can try to talk to the man, and here he is. Ah, you've finally come to aid in the capture of the wing, the agent says softly. Your ship is waiting for you on the docks, and I will give you 1,000 souls and a blue gem for your mission. Well, thank you. You're welcome. So I don't really know yet what the role of these gems and these souls, some kind of currency, are going to be, but we can assume, friends, that they'll figure quite strongly in our further adventures here. We're east of the labyrinthian SIA headquarters. The passage heads north and south. Oh, and south is where this man is, so we try to open the cabinet. It has been sealed especially against nosy people like yourself. Look, window, you see nothing special. I mean, one thing that's really impressive about the game is the extent to which it not only anticipates what players will want to do, but has fun with it as well. Welcome to Galaxy Oil, the largest chain of fuel depots this side of the Kruger star system. An attendant can serve you. Oh, I don't know the word attendant. Talk to man? Is it a man or a woman? I can't tell. Or a gender-neutral person, it could also be. Talk to... Sorry guys, my keyboard's a little sticky sometimes. Would you like to buy or sell some fuel? The price is 1 soul per gallon of fuel. Good to know. I imagine this here, our ship out on the docks, probably runs on fuel, doesn't it? It seems space-worthy. Well, we'll go and examine it later. Let's see, you know, always try different directions, friends. You always want to get a sense of all of the possibilities of a space before you leave it. Oh, hello, space cartographer. Oop, talk to woman. Charts are 10 souls apiece, okay? So, you know, it's kind of a funny thing, and I hope you'll forgive me for being very immature, but most old adventure games understand that the player is probably a dorky person and who reacts strongly to beautiful images. So when you see an attractive person on the screen, it's always like, you pucker up your lips to kiss her and she slaps your face. So often computer games of this era have punishments built in for when you're thirstily trying to perv on the background art. So let's read the chart that we bought from this lady who unfortunately we did just accost without her consent. Please don't do that in the real world, everybody. Read chart. So look at this. Mongo is where we are, if you remember from the introduction, and we see this beautiful infrastructure, this inspiring interplanetary system, and in each line that connects each planet, you can see a number, and this is the cost of fuel that it takes to follow that line. So how much money do we have? We have 990 souls, and our chart, and our blue gem. So yeah, we can see it would take us 500 to go to Sonex, and then from there we might have some choices, but we do know now that we need at least 500 units of fuel to get started. It's possible we could buy more, but when we have numbers that are this explicit, and when we have a currency system, it's safe to infer that managing that system will be the core of the game that we're going to play. Now, let's buy 500 fuel. Now has 500 gallons of fuel in it, sir. Thank you. Isn't that delightful when a system responds in a human way? again, I've been on this kind of enforced exile visiting my family in America, and they have an Amazon Alexa, entering the ship, by the way. And Alexa can answer all kinds of questions, but can't say you're welcome when you say thank you. And I think just being able to make AI say you're welcome is important. So now here we are at our ship. The exit hatch is to your east. Let's have a look at the console. You see a destination pointer, fuel gauge, and a launch button. So where do we want to go again, friends? Got a little distracted. So we want to go to Sonex with the 500 fuel we bought. You'll see that's probably the only option, which is nice. We have a safe and conflict-free introduction to the fuel management system. But lest you think this is going to be a boring game about doing maths, we have all kinds of cool and exciting things to look forward to. Okay, so we've changed our destination. The fuel gauge, we know what that does, and a launch button, so why not just press launch? And we see a beautiful animation of many colored star points flying by our screen. And already doesn't it feel like we're on the way to something together, friends? As a kid, I used to love when games created that sense of place and of exploration. I think we've previously done Gruds in Space on Lo-Fi Let's Play. It's a serious software game, and one of my other favorite adventures for this reason. The learning to manage machines and fuel machines and navigate the universe, taking something that feels vast and risky and making it something the player can manage. Now, here we are, and we leave our ship. Now, before we move on, I'm going to teach you something that I unfortunately played this game for an embarrassingly long time before I've learned. And now I'm always telling you, when you're outside in the world, try every direction and make sure that you've seen, make sure you can't go to the end of the dock or that you're not missing anything. Um, my husband always says that love is like finding a ballroom in your heart that you didn't know, or finding a ballroom in your house that you didn't know was there. And he didn't make that up, but he often says that. And sometimes realizing that you should explore your ship as well is like finding a ballroom in your house. When I found out that my ship also had a back where I got a spacesuit and a jetpack and some provisions, my mind was really blown, friends. Sometimes you don't know what's happening right behind you on your own ship. Take the jetpack. We could have taken all, friends, but sometimes it's nice to type, isn't it? All right, let's exit our ship now and check out the planet Sonex. Probably have to. Oh, you guys, I'm not gonna make a go fast joke. I'm sorry. I won't try that again. So we probably will need to buy more fuel here on this planet. But let's have a look first. Wow. Again, like there's so much imagination and character here, although she says that she doesn't take acid herself, that she loves Task Times. Becky Hyndman, the creator of this game, said that she loved her previous work, Task Times, in Tone Town because it was the closest you could get to an acid trip in a computer game, despite not being interested in that herself. But nonetheless, I think this game too has that sort of surreal transitional object quality. I don't know who does the art for these. Maybe Becky did them. I have no idea. The street goes to the north, west, and south. So because we came from the north, we should try the west first. Wow, you're in the driveway of somebody's house. Cool. Can we go to the house? Can't go there. Head north, always a safe bet. It's a great house. Like a beautiful, like a slice of Americana on this foreign planet. I love the visual direction. Hello, fellow agent. Your next stop is Jubillex. Thank you. He looks like an all right guy. Nice. He says, hurry, time is of the essence. Okay, we know we need to go to Jubillex. Don't forget that, friends, because sometimes I do get lost when I'm playing games with you. I get distracted. I forget to pick things up. It's kind of hard to solve puzzles and talk at the same time, but I'll do it for you. We're on a street on the south side of town. Just make sure, yes, there is a direction that wasn't listed. Usually games let you know what all of the available exits are, and other games expect you to be intrepid and to test things, and this is clearly in the latter. ladder categories. So I love this screen as well. Look at this jeweler's shop with the animated something pendulum coming up and down from the ceiling. As you enter the jeweler's shop, the jeweler smiles at you. Come in, he says. Well, if you'll remember, friends, inventory, we have a blue gem. So why don't we try to sell the gem? We now have 410 souls. So if we want to go to Jubillex, which is this way, we know that we would have needed 800, and because we spent so many before, we wouldn't have had that unless we'd sold the blue gems. So we never really have an excess of resources, do we, friends? Being able to offload this gem here at this jeweler gave us the funds we need to continue our adventure. And let's not forget that the gems are a key part of the economics of this world. So let's continue. And here we see a turning road again. This is my favorite part of the game, honestly. First of all, we're in line for an information booth. It's moving a little bit. I'm going to save the game anyway. Hundreds of people are standing in an information line. Information is very popular on Sonex. So look, line. They're not the type I'd buy insurance from. Let's see if there's anyone here we can speak to. The guy with the mohawk shoves you and tells you to wait at the end of the line. Okay, let's wait. So if you type wait, you get a sort of loading screen, and after waiting for several minutes, you notice the line isn't moving very quickly. So you can wait again if you're really determined. And I do love games that reward determination, and I also love games that depict mundane situations with humor, and so this scene has everything, including beautiful hot pink carpet and people with mohawks on. So after several more minutes, the line moves about a foot. Okay, what happens if we wait again? There must be a better way to spend the afternoon. I don't think so, friends. What better way to spend your afternoon than to listen to me pretending to wait in line in a space game from 1984? Someone has been cutting in line. I wonder if we should cut in line too. You quietly slip unnoticed to the front of the line. The lady in the optograph advises you to dig for Mentori's buried treasure. The crowd then throws you out of line. Okay, well, spoilers, friends. If you tried to wait or cut again, you would be duly punished by the crowd, and that would be the end of our adventure. So maybe we should be happy with the amount of information we got through these means. So we can't continue south, north. But, I think we probably have everything we need here. We have our destination. We sold a gem. We found out about the buried treasure. And I think we can move on to Jubillex if you want to. Really love this game, friends. Feels like we're, the whole world is at our fingertips. But just so you know, we haven't seen anything yet. Buy, how about 800 fuel? Because if you recall, we spent all of our previous 500 fuel getting ourselves here to Sonex. Here we go. Let's enter the ship. Here we are again. Let's turn the pointer to Jubillex. Yeah. And press launch. How are we doing, friends? Excited to go to another planet together? I am too. There are a number of Rebecca Heinemann games that I think will be worth looking at in this series. Oh, we've arrived. Great. So if you're interested in this one, please look out for the next Lo-Fi Let's Play backer newsletter, which will contain some of my links to my favorite interviews with her and some information about how you can play this game for yourself. Here we are out on the docks at our home of Jubillex. Again, another Galaxy Oil attendant is here. Good old Galaxy Oil. Always here when you need me. Now, when we need them. So now here we are in a long alleyway. Let's see. Always just make sure we're being attentive to the environment. Nothing special here. So let's just continue. Paths go north, west, and south. Oh, we're in a dark alleyway. We can't see a thing. Okay. Can't go that way. So this place, unlike the sort of beautiful and surreal architecture of Sonex, Jubillex looks like it's kind of fallen on hard times again. A dirty space junkyard, friends. Let's take the stick. You know, a lot of space fiction is very, optimistic, and other space fiction is cold and unfriendly, and some space fiction is about the junk and the sprawl and the dehumanization that will take place when we live in worlds of cold dust. The bartender looks a bit dazed. You're in a tavern on the west side of town. Uh, the bartender can't quite seem to remember anything. Huh, let's have a drink. Right, it is a bar. The bartender hands you a drink. See what I just did there, friends? I wrote buy drink and then I wrote take it. And it is only a very sophisticated parser in the early 80s that maintains that sense of object constancy, that knows that it refers to the glass. Even today, I'm impressed when I see it. Anyway, we're in a tavern on the west side of town. Um, one thing that I often like to tell you about is how some of these adventure games, loved to moralize at the player or punish them for cursing, or, generally these were very cerebral, very intellectual games. And if you were someone who liked violence, you could probably play something else. And so you usually get punished for selecting violent options in adventure games, which is why this is just such a good. What? Can't punch the man? Talk to man. Well, at some point you punch him. I'm not sure why. It will let us punch him later. Um, Maybe I've forgotten something. You never know. There's no such thing as a perfect playthrough, is there, friends? You are standing outside an old beat-up shack. The path goes north and south. Enter shack. Here we go. This is in someone's beat-up old shack. It smells like old sneakers in here. We see a solar battery. Wouldn't you like to have a solar battery? Calendar. Can't read the calendar. Look wall. It's the calendar from Off-Road Hermit. Interesting. Okay. Look bed, wrong adventure. Yep, absolutely. You go to Leisure Suit Larry if you want to look in beds and toilets. So we've stolen the solar battery. Gonna leave the shack. And immediately on leaving the shack, we encounter the small, angry-looking hermit. Now solving this puzzle, look at his eyes rolling around. He sure looks distressed at the theft of his battery. One of the things that I learned by trial and error is that this guy likes space junk and he doesn't care necessarily. If you want the solar battery, you're going to have to give him your spacesuit. There we go. The hermit thanks you and skips off. So by trading our spacesuit, we get to keep the solar battery for now. And that's all I know. Let's see. The path goes north. And that leads us back into the alleyway. South. Take the shovel. This is an interesting planet, isn't it, friends? Now, long and winding road. Where's this shrub? Look, plant, nothing. Well, let's enter the cave. So now here's a puzzle that took me quite a long time. You're in a cavern with stalactites covering the ceiling as you move. A few stalactites come falling down. What do you think, friends, we should do to solve this puzzle? So if motion causes them to tumble, we know that it's not safe to cross the room. We might have to create the impression of motion without actually moving. Let's see. Glass full of vodka, a shovel, a solar battery, a stick, a chart, and a jetpack. I wonder if we throw the glass. That didn't do anything. Let's see. Let's drink it. Went down smooth. All right. Let's try making a large amount of noise. Your bellowing causes all the stalactites to come crashing down, and we're standing in a suddenly less dangerous cave. Stalactites have fallen everywhere. Friends, this is where we normally stop our lo-fi Let's Play section. And, what better place to call an end to the session could there be than having taken a shot of vodka and yelled until we brought down the rock formations. Anyway, I really recommend this game. This is really only the beginning. And the works of Rebecca Heinemann are so important to the canon of this era. And we're going to continue looking at them. And if you subscribe to the Lo-Fi Let's Play newsletter, then there will be some more information about this game, about Becky's work, and about some other games that you may want to try if you enjoy this one, as well as some updates in general on what's going on with the series and what I've been doing. Um, as usual, it's important for me to remind you that Lo-Fi Let's Play is brought to you by the generous backing of all the Lo-Fi Let's Play friends out there in the universe. So thank you so much. If you want to become a backer yourself, you can go to patreon.com/Lee Alexander. I'm on Twitter at Lee Alexander, although I'm trying to be on Twitter less. And please, if you like Lo-Fi Let's Play, share it with your friends, family, and anyone else you think might like old graphics and strange adventures. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to joining you for a future episode. Bye-bye.